President Donald Trump may have just broken his own record when it comes to flip-flopping, because if you know anything about politics, you know that Donald Trump has been on every side of every single political issue over the course of his career, and he's just a brazen flip-flopper. He's a hypocrite. However, he is going to even greater lengths recently to expose himself as a gigantic flip-flopping hypocrite, because in an article published in CBS News titled "Trump Sells Qatar $12 billion of U.S. Weapons Days After Accusing It of Funding Terrorism," well, I mean, the title itself says everything you need to know. The joke writes itself. I mean, how big of a hypocrite do you have to be to flip-flop on an issue in just days? Come on. Because clearly, if you think a regime is funding terrorism, then clearly it's not in your interest to reward them by giving them a weapons deal. But, I mean, a $12 billion weapons deal, that's substantial. So if you think they're funding terrorism, why would you give them this weapons deal? I mean, that makes you a hypocrite. So clearly, you're not too concerned about them funding terrorism if it is the case that you're going to be giving them this weapons deal, right? Because you're rewarding bad behavior. But again, it's Donald Trump. He's a hypocrite. He's a flip-flopper. His opinion on something may change faster than the weather. So the article reads, while President Trump berates Qatar for sponsoring terrorism at the highest levels, he is simultaneously authorizing the country to purchase over $21 billion of U.S. weapons. One portion of that deal, $12 billion for 36 F-15QA fighter jets, was inked on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. when Qatar's defense minister met with the U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis. We are pleased to announce today the signing of the letter of offer and acceptance for the purchase of F-15QA fighter jets with an initial cost of $12 billion, read the Qatari defense minister's statement on Wednesday afternoon. We believe that this agreement will propel Qatar's ability to provide for its own security while also reducing the burden placed upon the United States military in conducting operations against violent extremism. Now, to be extra fair to Donald Trump here, this was in fact a deal that was authorized and approved by Congress. However, as the new commander-in-chief, Donald Trump has the authority to withdraw from this deal and say, no, I'm not going to reward Qatar after they're funding terrorism, but he chose not to do that. So after accusing them of funding terrorism and sponsoring terrorism, he gives them this $12 billion weapons deal. It's a gift to them. So it just makes no sense, and I wanted to talk about this story because it's one of the many examples Trump has given us to show that he's just a complete hypocrite. He talks about how he was against the Iraq War.
Wrong.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
He talks about how he was against Libyan intervention when we know that that's not true, because he recorded a video in his office saying how, you know, Gaddafi is the bad guy. We need to go in there and take him out. I mean, he's just been on every side of every single issue. And he's shameless about it.
We should go in, we should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. We could do it surgically, stop him from doing it, and save these lives. This is absolute nuts. We don't want to get involved, and you're going to end up with something like you've never seen before. Now, ultimately, the people will appreciate it. They're going to end up taking over the country eventually, but the people will appreciate it, and they should pay us back. But we have to go in to save these lives. These people are being slaughtered like animals. It's horrible what's going on. It has to be stopped. We're making decisions like trade embargoes. What does this have to do with a trade embargo? He's killing people with machine guns in the streets. We should do, on a humanitarian basis, immediately go into Libya, knock this guy out very quickly, very surgically, very effectively, and save the lives. After it's all done, we go to the protesters who end up running the country. They're going to like us a lot better than they will if we don't do it. More importantly, we're going to save lives. And we should then say, by the way, from all of your oil, we want reimbursement.
Wrong.
In an age where the internet exists and you say something that will be out there forever, how could you not be more mindful of this fact? I mean, it's so absurd to me. And I'm embarrassed for him. Like, it makes me cringe in a way because, you know, if I said something and contradicted myself that quickly, I would be pretty embarrassed about it, and I would have to figure out a way to justify my change of reasoning that abruptly to my viewers or anyone, because I'm a normal person. I'm a rational human being. Trump is not rational. He makes snap decisions. He is, a hasty decision maker, just generally speaking, and he's impulsive. So, what is his opinion one day may change the next day. So this isn't a surprising story, but I just couldn't not point it out because Donald Trump is just, man, what a hypocrite.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.